Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Dean of New York University School of Law, Mr. Trevor Morrison.
Good morning. I am delighted to welcome the members of our graduating class of 2016, as well as the people who helped get them here, faculty, family, and friends. Let me start with family and friends of our graduates. To you, we all say thank you. I am sure that the graduates will agree with me when I say that one does not go through law school alone. The study of law is an enormously enriching and, we believe, fascinating process. But it's not easy. Even law students as fantastically talented and hardworking as today's graduates require the support of others. They and we are enormously grateful to you for the wisdom, support, encouragement, and love you've provided over the last 3 years. So again, thank you. In no small part, today is for you. Now to all of you graduates, congratulations. We, the faculty, administration, and trustees, are tremendously proud of you. And we are confident that the experience, skills, and knowledge you've acquired while at NYU will propel you forward to successful, meaningful, and impactful careers. You've also been incredibly important members of our law school community over these last 3 years, and I want to acknowledge and thank you for that. We, your professors, haven't just been your teachers. We've also endeavored to be your collaborators and partners, working with you on research projects, legal briefs, and policy papers, and exploring with you challenging questions in and out of the classrooms. It has been our honor to have worked with you, and we are thrilled to see what you will do from here. You will accomplish truly great things. Now, to be sure, you will accomplish those things in a world full of challenges. It is a world of rapid change, technologically, economically, and politically. It's a world of increasing complexity, heterogeneity, and division. It's a world where the law's capacity to manage human affairs in the face of such rapid change and difference is in many ways under increasing strain. Yet at the same time, the world you are entering is one in which the core skills you have honed here at NYU are more important and more valuable than ever before. One look at trending news topics reveals that virtually all of them have something in common: the law. Almost every major issue we wrestle with today, within and between nations, has a legal component. And this means that lawyers are often at the center of the conversation when enormously consequential decisions are made. And it means that the skills you have developed in the course of your legal education are immensely important. I'm talking here about the ability to think critically, to analyze deeply, and fundamentally to solve problems. These are the skills sometimes treated glibly as thinking like a lawyer, but they are real. And they are vital not only to your own future success, but indeed to making progress on many of the most important issues in society. Now, the ability, or at least the willingness, to think critically and to engage deeply with ideas is, unfortunately, in rather short supply today. Too often in this country and elsewhere around the world, public discourse is not deep and thoughtful, but shallow and bombastic. Invective and ad hominem attacks threaten to replace genuine debate and critical inquiry. Leaders in government and elsewhere often seem more concerned with scoring quick political points than with solving real problems. Our guest speaker today is one clear exception, but sadly she is an exception. We should require more of our leaders, and you, our future leaders, are equipped to do much better. Whether or not you ever watched the movie The Paper Chase, and admittedly it was a bit outdated 20 years ago when I went to law school, many of you may have arrived in your first law school classes with a fear of being cold called, of engaging in the Socratic method of teaching for which law schools are often known. At NYU, some of us continue to employ some version of that method in our teaching, and others have adopted other approaches. But whatever methods were employed in your classes, now having completed law school, I hope you see that one of the chief goals of this education has been to foster genuine dialogue and critical engagement with the ideas upon which the law is, or should be, built. While here at NYU, I hope you have felt challenged to examine critically your own viewpoints and opinions. I hope you felt encouraged to acknowledge and question the assumptions upon which your views are based. And I hope you felt obliged to consider and think seriously about arguments on the other side, indeed, on all sides. Now, to be clear, the goal in all of this has not been to get you to change any of your personal views. Many of you came to law school with deeply held convictions, which is not just fine, it's wonderful. But when it comes to matters affected by the law, the obligation of first-rate attorneys is to ensure that personal convictions do not lead to complacency. Questioning, probing, and reevaluating our positions is the surest way to improve them. This makes us better advocates for our clients, and it makes us more effective public citizens as well. I think this is what Judge Learned Hand, and you know this is a law school address if someone is quoting Judge Learned Hand, I think this is what Hand meant when he said, "The spirit of liberty is the spirit that is not too sure it is right." Not too sure it's right. Whether when advocating for a client in private practice or public interest work, or in helping to shape law and policy in public service, the best outcomes are achieved when we combine steadfast defense of our positions with a willingness to understand and learn from the other side. I learned this lesson when I was clerking for Justice Ginsburg. The worst mistake you could make in that job, she told us, was to write a memorandum or help draft an opinion that caricatured or trivialized the other side's position. Instead, we were told that we must make the best possible arguments on behalf of the other side, and only then show why they do not carry the day. And this, I think, is what Hand meant about the spirit of liberty not being too sure that it is right. He went on to say, quote, "The spirit of liberty is the spirit which seeks to understand the minds of other men and women. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which weighs their interests alongside its own without bias," unquote. This is exactly what our public discourse lacks today. Real progress on hard problems is not achieved by two-second sound bites. Yet somehow we have arrived at a moment when, at least to some, the refusal to hear another's point of view is considered a virtue. I challenge you to reject that assertion and to reject the notion that the ability to change one's mind is somehow a weakness. Instead, I encourage you to use what you have learned here to maintain a mind open to change, whether to sharpen your own arguments or to continue to learn from others as you have learned from your peers and your professors here. With the benefit of the education you have received here and your own immense talent and drive, you are well equipped to be effective leaders in and through the law. You each can earn a place as a trusted counselor, whether you find yourself working in public service, as an entrepreneur, or in big law or a small firm, using those tools to understand opposing viewpoints in litigation, negotiation, and business strategy. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whomever you talk to, I hope you'll consider what the spirit of liberty requires. Never rest on your intellectual laurels. Don't become stagnant. Remember that questioning is learning. And remember that each of you has a valuable skill, the ability to bring people together towards shared goals. Bring the nimble, innovative spirit of this law school with you to shape your own careers, and use your central role in the mediating language of the law to bring people together and make positive change in this world. Graduates, congratulations. This class in particular holds a special place in my heart because you and I both started here at NYU at the same time. I and everyone else on this stage could not be more proud of you, and we can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Morrison. Now please give a warm welcome to Chairman Anthony Welters, class of 1977, and Chairman of the Board of the Trustees of New York University School of Law.
Good morning. Let me congratulate the class for doing some extraordinary work. I want to share with you an observation. Yesterday, I had the honor of escorting former Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Court, Margaret Marshall, and people celebrated her. They know about her decision in the Goodrich case. We were chatting. What most people don't realize, she left South Africa to come to America because she headed up as a college student an organization, national student organization, that was opposed to apartheid. And her courage at that moment in time as a young lady caused her to be a person not well received in South Africa. And people believed it would be better for her to leave South Africa because she could be at risk, and she did that. The point is this, and I say this to your graduates, it's what you do to make a difference when no one is watching is what really, really matters. Because in the light of day, everything looks a little different. To those who have made your life possible, I congratulate them and express my appreciation because but for them, many would not be here today. And to this extraordinary faculty who preserves the rule of law, we all owe them a debt of gratitude, and I would like us all to take a moment to applaud them. There are trustees who have worked long and hard to help preserve this institution. I hope as each of you move on in your careers, you will demonstrate a commitment to not only this institution, but to the rule of law and to each other. Godspeed.
Thank you, Chairman Welters. Now please welcome Catherine Fleming, Deputy Provost and Vice Chancellor of New York University, to address the graduates on behalf of the university.
Hello and congratulations. Now, if you go home and Google, you may have done this already, how to wear a doctoral gown, you're going to find more than 4,000 YouTube videos. I hope that few of them were made by recent JDs in search of a new career path. These videos have really must-watch titles like 10 Things Less Flattering Than a Graduation Gown, and a particularly corny favorite, What's in the Hood? Now, what's really in the hood that you're holding and your gown is, in effect, your CV. It sets you apart and it shows your credentials, and you're wearing them now, as it were, on your sleeve. And this is why back in the day, professors used to wear their academic gowns on campus. It showed that they were qualified to teach. In some very few remaining places in Europe, professors still wear their robes, but this is considered super pretentious. And this is one of the reasons that I particularly like graduation time at NYU, an institution that I think of as utterly unpretentious, even at its loftiest moments, such as convocation at the law school. Since it's so unlike us, it's really nice to see us breaking out the gowns. Now, I grew up in a small East Coast Ivy League town. And at the time, the university in my town was still very elitist. It was still all male, and it was still largely full of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, many of whom were the children of fathers who'd attended the same institution. But things were changing, And increasingly on campus, you could see some people who weren't white, weren't Protestant, and didn't speak with a flat mid-Atlantic accent. And there's an apocryphal tale that still circulates about these early years of de-snobification. It's the first day of classes, and one of these newcomers is rushing across campus looking for the library. Walking towards him across the quad is a very snooty-looking professor wearing his academic regalia. And the young man flags him down, and in a heavy New York borough accent, he says, "Excuse me, professor, could you please tell me where the Firestone Library is at?" And drawing himself up to a snooty height, the professor, dripping with condescension, responds, "My good man, here at Princeton, we don't end our sentences with a preposition." "Ah," the young man apologizes, "I'm so sorry. Okay, so could you please tell me where the Firestone Library is at, jerk?" Now, I'm sure that this student, brilliant, unpretentious, and quick on his feet, ultimately ended up at NYU Law. NYU is inordinately proud of its School of Law, of its exceptional law faculty, and of its graduates. That is, we're inordinately proud of you. You now have, and soon will be wearing, one of the most impressive CVs imaginable. I very much hope it serves you well. And on behalf of NYU, I convey my warmest congratulations and my sincere admiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Provost Fleming. We now welcome Georgia Stasinopoulos, the voice of the class of 2016, to address her fellow graduates.
Thank you. I just want to start by apologizing to the parent that I overheard on the way in who was waving their program and saying, "Honey, I didn't know George Stephanopoulos was speaking today." Now, to the class of 2016, let me say what an incredible honor it has been to spend the last 3 years as one of your classmates. Unlike our keynote speaker, I can't address you from a position of wisdom or authority, and I won't even pretend to. So I hope you all take notes when the head of the Civil Rights Division comes up and gives us advice for our futures, even if it might be the first time you take notes as a 3L. But because I only have so much time to talk here with you today, instead of focusing on the many different things we will and should do over the course of our careers in law, I'm going to focus on the one thing that should remain the same. NYU Class of 2016, #SmartWithHeart. I see some of you smiling, which means you have good memories. For the parents in the room, a hashtag is like, it's a pound sign. Just roll with it. Like many of you, I first heard that phrase during a summer employment orientation, our 1L year. A few minutes before, the Career Services Office had just wrapped up a short presentation on the demographics of our class. I felt pretty good about starting my first year of law school at a school with more women, more LGBT students, and more students of color than lots of other highly ranked law schools. Yeah, you applaud for that. I thought it sounded pretty cool that NYU's motto is a private university in the public service, although I think my family would have been a little more impressed if the motto was in Latin. And apparently there's like 10 of you who already had medical degrees coming into law school, which I expect means that armed with both a law degree and a medical degree, in a few decades you're all going to participate in this Hunger Games style contest to become head of the FDA. But returning to orientation, Dean Dorsback started talking about why employers are so excited to hire NYU law students. It's not just that you and your colleagues are smart, she concluded. Columbia is smart. Harvard is smart. Stanford is smart. But only NYU is smart with heart. And that, to me, is what makes this graduation with this group of people so special. There doesn't seem to be a shortage of smarts out there in the world. But integrity, passion for your work, concern for your colleagues, all of that, the heart you can bring to your jobs with just a little bit of extra work, can sometimes be in short supply. We live in a time when one of our candidates for president wants to ban Muslims from entering our country. But guess what, NYU? We're gonna give them lawyers like Amelia Merritt's to fight for immigrants should have a chance to build a life in this country. We live in a time when women are getting paid 77 cents to the dollar. So we're gonna give them lawyers like Leo Gertner to rally for equal pay. After today, NYU, we're gonna have lawyers like Hamza Sufi to help protect kids going through the criminal justice system. We're going to have lawyers like Meredith Riley representing the United States' interest in international litigation. And even though Vanita Gupta isn't a part of the class of 2016, as an NYU Law alum, I think we can all take a moment to commend her right now, because her office's recent decision to defend the rights of transgender men and women across this country is a pretty good example of the kind of integrity that we should strive to have as lawyers in the public service. I could honestly keep going. When I look out over this room, as honored as I am to have witnessed all the amazing things this class has accomplished, I know the best is yet to come, not because of what we've learned, but because of the kinds of people this school encouraged us to become. Except on COSES. I don't know what's going on there, but you all just need to disable reply all in your inbox from now on. I want to end on one personal example, a way that I've experienced firsthand what #SmartWithHeart can mean. And yes, this is going to be a little bit of like a Fault in Our Stars detour, but just bear with me. A couple of months ago, it was hard for me to get excited about graduating, and I'll tell you why. When I thought about graduation, I worried that when I made it here to this stage today, I would look out over the audience and there would be one face missing in the crowd. My mom, who unfortunately passed away 3 months ago after a brave battle with cancer. But today, I look out over this crowd and here's what I see. I see the professors who called doctors and clinical trials on my mom's behalf, pulling the kinds of strings I really only associate with clerkships. I see the administrators who gave me time and space to grieve while finishing my exams, and it was close, but I finished. I see some students, people I barely knew, who sent me notes and outlines and class recordings, determined not to let me fall behind on my classes or have to miss the semester. And as for the rest of you, you showed up to class and you gave it your all each and every day. And during the worst few months of my life, you inspired me to do the same. So please know that all of you made it possible for me to graduate today. And when it comes to being smart with heart, I think there is no better example than that. Time and time again, each of you has lived up to that reputation to be a committed law student who is #SmartWithHeart. But the real challenge and the best way of honoring this incredible community will be to find a way to practice that as lawyers. That is no small task. but I think we're up to the challenge. Let's promise, NYU class of 2016. Let's do it. Let's be #SmartWithHeart. Thank you.